Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Ripto. I'm Christian and in today's video we're going to be looking at two altcoins that I think are going to do 100% pumps in the next leg up of the Bitcoin bull run. Now I'm also going to see where I think Bitcoin's going to hit before I want to start taking profits out of my altcoins, because I want to de-risk and I also want to take these 30% support and resistances pumps that we've been doing on this channel for the last couple of months now. But as it's also important when the euphoria is coming back into the market that we do have to start taking some profits and dollar cost averaging out. It's all good being excited with Bitcoin going to these new higher highs, but we've got to look at where we think Bitcoin's going to hit resistance, retest, and where we can take the most advantage. So if you want to know all about this cool stuff and what two altcoins I think are going to do 100% pump, stay tuned and let's get into the video. So before I start this video, I have to do that bit, and you guessed it, anything you see, hear or choose to ignore is not financial advice. What I am going to do is what I would like to do with my portfolio and how I invest my money. Now I look to get compounding support and de-risk as much as I can. I like to keep the ones that I think are good long-term projects and hold them coins all the way through, but I also see where the weak areas are and where the strong areas are. So I do like to de-risk a little bit. So we're going to look at the charts now and I'm going to go through that two all important altcoins that I think are going to do 100% pumped and hopefully do what we've been doing for the past couple of months on this channel, and that's taking them maximum profits and them 30% gains. So let's jump straight into the chart. Boom. So as you can see, Bitcoin here is having a nice little breakout. We've been doing this price chart action for the past couple of months now, where we've been saying on the channel, if you've been following, buying at support levels down here and selling at resistance. And this has been our kind of bottom line and our support line for a long time now, all the way since back in January. So now it's finally time to break out of this and find a new kind of position for Bitcoin. But the million Bitcoin question is, where are the next new levels of price chart action? If we want to take pure advantage of all this nice 30% compounding pumps here and get these kind of bottom lines and top lines again, we need to find new areas. But also we need to think about our altcoins as well, because why Bitcoin's in these new higher highs, we do want to start taking a little bit of profit. So before I get into my two cool altcoins I want to tell you about, I just want to say what I'm going to do with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, hopefully for me, in the ideal situation, will start crabbing sideways here now and come back down and retest this and confirm this support line as its bottom line. And once we do a retest here and do a bounce, we could then start going up into these levels here. Now, if we have a look at this area here where all this price chart action is, we can see this is where Bitcoin's meeting its next new kind of resistance level. So if it does get rejected from here, I do see it coming back down to maybe test this 45 before coming back up, and I would like to see it break into the 50 to 55 range. Now this is where I'll start de-risking some of my altcoins, because this is where I think they will have a massive crazy pump. I'll have some on there, especially the ones that we were buying in when you've looked at some of the other channels like the Manos, Solanos, the Terra Lunas and stuff like that. We should have a nice bit of healthy profit then to start taking chips off the table for another retest down before then we start going to higher highs, because we've not, in my opinion, seen a massive blow up top from the altcoins yet. So we do see a lot of price chart volatility, because now they're going to see a lot of manipulation come back in the market. The euphoria has come back into the market, and while euphoria is in there, we do see these kind of price chart actions. So with that being said about how I see Bitcoin going, and we're going to leave these in and start doing these on the channel now, I do want to go through two altcoins that I think are really primed to do really well and over 100% gain from their like kind of March lows. And the first one I'm going to look at is Cake. So if we have a look at Cake here, we can see that Cake has been trading all the way down in these really dodgy low areas here, from where we put in the $7 mark all the way up to about the $8.80. But if you have a look where Cake was originally on its like highs, it was trading all the way up at around about $26. So where do I see Cake going? Well, I definitely see Cake coming up. It's trading at $8.85 at the moment, and I definitely see it breaking through the 16 levels, coming up to all this kind of price chart action here, which would be in the next maybe month or so, or however long it takes Bitcoin to get to them kind of levels of 50 to 55, I could see cake getting up to the $17 mark. Now, these are going to be some key areas where if you're buying cake in these low regions here at the super discounted price between $7 and $9, you can then think, okay, I can start de-risking at any one of these levels here. So what we do is we wait for it to see how much resistance it meets, because we have got a lot of historic price chart action for resistance here, and we've also got a lot of historic price chart action here. Now we could then see where would cake come before we start then sort of de-risking like we did with Bitcoin, buying at support, selling at resistance, and then keep dollar costing averaging out, buying back in at supports and resistance until we get to our target area, where we then have to decide whether we want to take a lot of profits out of the token and leave the house's money in there. So de-risk with your own initial investment, leave the house's money in there to see if we have a blow off altcoin and it does go to higher highs, or if you then want to put your kind of money into another token that you see that's not doing as well as cake. And this is exactly what we're going to do with Theta. Now, Theta to me is absolutely banging undervalued. If you have a look at where it was as high as up here at $16 and it's trading now at 3.8, you can see there's a massive upside potential here to go to 313%, but we're only looking for 100. And if we can be conservative, we could go to these kind of levels of 200 here, if this is what we're looking for. But for me, I'm just looking at around about the 100% mark, because I want to put my money in there, de-risk as quick as I can by doing these support and resistant pumps, and then going back in with your initial investment. But the only way you can do that, in my opinion, is by not just leaving it in there, crossing your fingers open for the best. It is by looking for support and resistant pumps and only selling at a retest. Now you can Google this, but I also show this nearly every time. To sell at that resistance, you need to make sure it doesn't break through and retest and goes back up. You need to wait for it to get rejected, get a nice little dojo candle or the next candle confirmation, and then that's when you can start dollar costing averaging out before you buy back in at support or at the kind of levels you're happy to go back in. And then you do the same thing. But these are the kind of price chart action areas I think this is going to happen on Theta. Now, I'm really sorry, I am losing my voice a little bit. Did have a bit of a wild weekend. Unfortunately, we all have a life from time to time. So unfortunately, I had a bit of a mad one at the weekend. But let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, tick that bell notification as well. We are just looking at some safe tokens at the moment, you know, just to get ourselves, like I said, in a bit of a better position to steady the waters, steady that ship a little bit before then we start taking out the old lifeboat and start doing a little bit more partying and having a little bit more fun. But as always, trade smart, trade safe, and don't get wrecked.